Don't you forget about me.
Hi, I'm Chris.
And I'm Erin.
You just can't beat being out in the fresh air, can you?
And cycling's a great way to get around and help you keep fit and healthy.
But that doesn't mean that you can forget about hazards.
Or who you share the space with.
That's right. We all have to respect everyone's journey, whether you're on the road or in a cycle lane.
And when it comes to cycle lanes, there are lots of different types. So let's go through them one by one.
If you cycle around town or in the city, you'll be familiar with cycle tracks. Cycle tracks are for bicycles only. They can make your journey so much smoother and faster, but they have their own places of risk.
Getting on and off them for a start.
So, when you're entering a cycle track, you must look around for other road users and give way to cyclists that are already on it. And the same goes for exiting cycle tracks. Adjust your speed and stop if necessary, as other road users may not expect you to be entering their space.
On a cycle track, there are no rules about which direction to go in. But generally, cyclists treat them like a road and normally stick to the left.
And as we said, cycle tracks are for cyclists only, but other vehicles and pedestrians may need to cross them, and they may move into your path unexpectedly at any point. Remember, just like the highway code rule for drivers, you must give way to someone who has already started to cross. And if someone does appear, be respectful. Give way when you need to, and ring your bell courteously to let them know you're there.
You know it's the law that every bike must have a bell.
Shared use paths are different. On a shared use path, nobody has the right to go first. So cyclists, pedestrians and dogs all have to share the same space. And remember, people can use shared use paths in both directions.
The most important thing is to keep your speed down. Remember, it's a path, not a racetrack.
And be prepared to change directions suddenly. Because you're sharing the space with pedestrians, dog walkers and other cyclists, you need to look out for them and give way when you have to. You'll be sharing the path with young children who can be unpredictable, and older people who may not be as steady on their feet as they used to be. Be particularly careful when passing people from behind. They might not hear you approach and may even move into your path suddenly.
Remember, they have every right to be there as much as you. Use your bell courteously, and if someone lets you through, show your appreciation.
On some paths, you'll see a line dividing the cyclists and pedestrians.
These are called segregated paths, and parts of the cycle lane are painted green with a bicycle marked on the ground.
On a segregated path, you can cycle in both directions.
But you must keep to your own side.
But be aware, pedestrians and dogs may not do the same. Look out for pedestrians wearing headphones who may not hear you approaching, and for younger children.
By the way, footpaths, as the name suggests, are for feet, so cyclists are not allowed on them unless the cycle lane goes onto the footpath. If that's the case, look out for street furniture, like signposts and bus stops.
On a with-flow cycle lane, you can only travel in the same direction as the traffic.
But you still need to look out for all other road users, particularly pedestrians crossing the road and vehicles emerging from junctions. They may not see you.
Where practical, you should stay in a cycle lane. But if you're passing a junction, to help drivers see you, move into the flow of the traffic to a more central position if you can. When it's safe, move back into the cycle lane.
But before you make any move, and this is really important, always look around you, especially behind, and give a signal if necessary to show your intent.
Looking around and making eye contact with the driver is the first sign for them that you intend to make a move. And don't forget to thank someone who lets you out. Contraflow lanes are useful for cyclists. They can save you time by avoiding having to cross busy roads to reach the regular traffic flow.
But the danger is you're travelling in the opposite direction to the traffic.
So, this is where you really need to be on high alert and consider other road users. Look out for drivers or for pedestrians crossing between parked cars, They may not be expecting you to be coming the other way. And watch out for parked car doors opening unexpectedly.
Now for bus lanes, which cyclists also have the right to use if indicated on the signs. Bus lanes are there for a reason, to make your journey smoother and faster. But because they're shared with buses, permitted taxis and motorbikes, they can be extremely busy. So you need to think carefully about this shared space.
To increase your visibility, try to stay in the centre of the lane, but let buses pass you where possible.
Never cycle up the inside of a bus. It's far too dangerous. The driver may not be able to see you in his or her blind spots. Vehicles may be emerging from junctions and passengers could be getting on and off the bus.
And don't forget, if you're passing a bus on the outside, passengers getting off may cross in front of it, even though they shouldn't. And the bus driver may not see you in his or her blind spots.
There's a very simple rule. If you can't see the driver in the mirror, then the driver can't see you.
A good tip is to try and avoid the busiest times on your route. It'll make your journey quicker and smoother.
Now we come to advanced stop lines, which are marked as green boxes and are positioned at some traffic lights. Cars, lorries and motorbikes are not allowed in the green boxes. They are for cyclists only.
Think about it. Cyclists are safest at traffic lights where they're more visible, and green boxes can increase their safety.
That's because they put cyclists in front of the traffic and allow them to move off first when the lights turn green.
But only use them if it's practical and safe to do so. Be prepared to share the space with other cyclists. And don't forget to make eye contact with drivers behind, especially those with a high-seated position that may not see you directly in front of their cab.
Remember, you must obey the same rules at traffic lights as drivers. Cyclists must never jump red lights.
So what if there are no cycle lanes, Aaron?
You have to take responsibility for your own safety, and that starts with making sure your bike is roadworthy and that you're always visible.
You can see that my bike is fitted with reflectors.
By law, you must have a red rear reflector and amber pedal reflectors. It's also a good idea to have a white front reflector and spook reflectors.
You must use lights front and rear after dark. And as was said before, your bike must have a bell.
What you wear is really important too. Light or fluorescent clothing by day and reflective by night, or better still, both.
And always wear a helmet. It could save your life. And make sure it's fitted properly.
When you're on the road, always keep looking and listening.
And try and stay about a metre out from the curb.
At junctions, traffic lights and islands, move to a more central position.
It'll make you more visible and more able to spot hazards, as well as reducing the risk of drivers attempting to overtake you where there's limited space. And always be aware of lorries and other large vehicles.
And before you cycle off, don't forget,
Respect other road users, because we all share the same space. After you, Aaron.